Hey guys, so they actually released the incoming LF Cells abilities on the official website. Now, this is something that they've been doing pretty much since Ultra Kid Buu release. We can scroll down to the bottom here. So we have Ultra Kid Buu, then of course we have all the anniversary characters, Goku and Frieza, Piccolo, the Gammas, and then Ultra Vegito Blue. So it looks like this is going to be a continuing trend here moving forward. I guess every Ultra and Legends Limited character that comes out, they will be publishing their kits on the official website, which I think is a very good idea. Them officially releasing the kits, even without doing a reveal and stuff, I think is very good because it leaves the release of the kits in their hands instead of it just being relegated to data miners releasing them ahead of time, right? So when the data download happens, like, it's not like they spoil anything here. So this is going to be my first time looking at this. We'll read through this together, and I'll give my thoughts on what I'm seeing here. So this is going to be Legends Limited Perfect Form Cell. Okay. And then they give like a little bit of a summary here before we actually get into things. So we'll see what they say here. So, sporting high combo potential and an ability to explode for massive damage upon defeat. That's taken straight from the original series. Legends Limited Perfect Form Cell joins the fight. This cell can be effective with a variety of tags, including Regeneration, Future, and Android. Okay, and interesting that they didn't even mention Powerful Opponent. Like, I was assuming that Powerful Opponent was going to be one of the main focuses of this unit, but looks like I know Regen is going to be probably the main focus here, but Future and Android, interesting. For Android specifically, it's going to really depend on if this character is a Strike or Blast-based character. If he's Strike-based, I really don't see him being used too much on Android, but we'll see. That makes the recent 5th anniversary editions, such as Ultra Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegito, Legends Limited Piccolo, and Legends Limited Gamma 1 and 2, great teammates. Alrighty. Strength number 1, high combo potential. Perfect Form Cell has a unique gauge that builds with time spent on the battlefield, and it'll activate various effects when it hits max. So that's basically Ultra Hit's unique gauge. And I guess Kid Buu's as well, sort of the same mechanic there. Health and Ki will be recovered. Damage inflicted will get a boost. 3 random cards will be drawn if 3 or fewer cards are in hand. Arch card draw speed will increase, and enemy special cover changes will be nullified. Sounds exactly like Revival Goku's main ability, but it's just tied to the unique gauge, I guess. Interesting. Draw speed will also increase every time the enemy uses an arts card. So your combos will be even more ferocious when it's time to counterattack. Dependent on the enemy using an arts card. That's going to be interesting. It'll depend on how long it lasts for. Strength number 2, a massively powerful attack upon defeat. Unlike previous characters who can deal damage upon defeat, Legends Limited Perfect Cell deals massive damage. Plus, enemy members on standby get hit with half of that damage, so you can put the entire enemy party on the ropes at once. And it's not just about the damage, since all of your enemies' cards will be destroyed and all enemies will be inflicted with no switching for a set period. Their actions will be greatly limited as well. Sounds very, very fun. Everything listed here has only been a small snippet, so read below for the full details. So it looks like he is purple. Yeah, I think my 2 candidate colors for this unit were blue and purple, so that does make sense. I'm not really too upset about that. Makes sense to me. All right, so now we're going to get into the actual kit itself here. So the first things we're going to talk about here is the main ability. Through drawing a special move arts card as well as charging the unique gauge by a substantial amount, this main ability is perfect to use in critical moments. It can even provide great support by restoring ally health each timer count after activation. So main ability draws a green card next. No, sorry, blue card next. No, yeah, special move card. Yeah, blue card next. Restores own health by 30% and Ki by 40. Charges own unique gauge by 30%, and then gradually restores ally health each timer count for 60 timer counts. That seems a little weak. Again, it's going to depend on how strong the unique gauge 30% recovery is. But just upon initial glance, it doesn't look like it's doing a ton. I guess, again, it's going to depend on the unique gauge here. Alright, Z ability, so at 14 stars, he's giving 38% to future regen or android strike and blast attacks of both offenses. And then powerful opponent get 18% to strike defense. Okay, sure. So I'm not really a huge fan of how they do this. Like, powerful opponent should be in the base buff. right? I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. Okay, so the strike card, Impact, restores own key by 5 on hit. And then he has Blast, extra damage to Blast. Is he a range type? Hold on, let me just scroll up here. It doesn't say. It just says purple, the tags, and then the episode. It doesn't say if what style the character is, if he's melee, ranged, support, or defense type. Based on the fact that his Blast cards are doing extra damage to blast armor, I'm actually going to assume that he is a ranged character. Because have we ever seen a melee type character have blast cards that do extra damage to blast armor? I don't think so. Unless I'm just not remembering something. Like, I think of like Vegeta and Trunks have this ability. I think like Gamma 1 has this ability as well. So a lot of these characters that do extra damage to blast armor are ranged characters. So this Sal probably is a ranged character. We'll see. Which is actually, him being ranged is better for the androids team, because androids has always been, well, not always, but for the majority of the history of the game has been a ranged type team. The difficult thing with that, though, is regen is definitely not ranged. So we'll see. All right, the blue card. So we know from the preview that the blue card is a melee-based blue card. I got messed up with the preview in my video that I did because I was thinking that the AoE was the blue card, but it actually ended up being the green card, and the blue card was for the LF. So it looks like he doesn't actually have an ultimate, which is interesting. All right. Turn the tables all at once with Endurance Nullification and a chance to inflict Feint. Oh, nice. Inflict Feint. That increases as your remaining battle members dwindle. Alright, so deals massive impact damage, applies the following effects: self-pawn activation, 30% of special move damage, nullifies endurance, and then the following effects occur according to the number of remaining battle members. So it just gets an increasing chance to feint depending on how many battle members you have left, up to 30%. Okay, I mean, it could have been a lot uglier than this, so I guess if he's going to have a chance to feint, the maximum it being is 30%, I guess I'll take that. But that all this is going to do is it's going to make it a lot more annoying when you get hit by this 10% chance to feint. Like, when you get hit by this 10% chance to feint and it lands on you, it's going to feel really bad because you know it's only 10%. Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we know that this is a AoE green, right? A powerful special arts that inflicts all enemies with substitution counts on hit and can be followed up with strike, blast, or special move arts. It'll also charge the unique gauge and restore key, so depending on the situation, you can greatly increase your combo potential. Alright, so applies the following effects to self upon activation. Restores key by 50, charges unique gauge by 20%, activates 3 times. Okay, so the fact that that is upon activation is actually pretty good, because if you... So, when you're going up against a character that you know has an AoE green card, you're going to be way more inclined to try and tap them out of the animation, right? Because that's the fastest way to do it. But even if you're Cell, and you use this green card, and you get tapped out of it, you still get the benefit of charging your unique gauge, even if your green card doesn't go off. So, that actually does matter. 20% to blast damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. Nullifies attribute downgrades under normal conditions for 20 timer counts. Okay, so he's getting a substantial amount of buffs upon activation. And then on hit, inflicts all enemies with 3 sub-counts. And then you, of course, can combo this. So it's a pretty powerful effect. The one thing about this is that it doesn't have cover null, but they're sort of substituting cover null for the fact that it's making all enemies have 3 sub-counts, which means that you can guaranteed combo this with something and that they're not going to be able to cover change out of it. So I think that's fine. That's fine. I mean, he's going to need cover null somewhere in his kit. He's an LF character. I mean, he's a main release. You've got to have that somewhere. But this is a good substitute for that, just on the green card effect there. Okay, heading into the unique abilities here. Unique ability 1. When the cell is defeated in battle, massive damage will be dealt to the enemy, and half of that damage will also be dealt to enemy members on standby. All your enemies' cards will also be destroyed, and all enemies will be inflicted with no switching. Alright, how long, though? Plus, if the enemy has 2 or more battle members remaining, their Rising Rush will be sealed for a set period of time, and all enemies' main abilities will be sealed too, which will greatly limit your opponent's actions. Okay. I am on the record, by the way, saying that I am really not a big fan of just sealing all these different kinds of mechanics because it limits what you can do in the fight. And I'm not really just a huge fan of that design philosophy, but that's pretty powerful. Sealing Rising Rush, sealing main abilities, no switching. All your cards are destroyed. Like, you just can't do anything. The only thing that's not removed is your Vanish. There's also an attack buff against the unfavorable yellow element, as well as another attack buff if the enemy's party is comprised of only Saiyan or Sun family characters. Only Saiyan or Sun family characters. How common is that right now? Not that common. I don't think you fight a ton of just Saiyan or Sun family teams. Most teams right now are running either Zenkai Sword of Hope Trunks or Blue 17, which are neither Saiyan or Sun family. So, okay. Deals massive explode damage when this character is defeated if there is a remaining battle member. Half of the damage inflicted will also be dealt to enemy members on standby. The damage from this attack cannot cause the enemy members on standby to be defeated. If this character is defeated by enemy self-destruct attack, this effect will not activate. This effect will not activate in hyperdimensional co-op or full power battle. You know what I'm actually going to do real quick is I'm actually going to pull up the wording on our good buddy Zenkai Red Majin Vegeta. I mentioned this in the initial, reaction video to this character, his reveal, but them having an LF character have a death AoE like this, I would not be surprised if they made this as powerful as like Majin Vegeta's final explosion. So I have Majin Vegeta pulled up on my phone here. Again, I'm sort of improvising with the setup. I apologize. So Zenkai Red Majin Vegeta. So he actually deals major self-destruct damage. So he does major self-destruct damage. The cell is dealing massive explode damage. I'm surprised he's not dealing self-destruct damage. I'm surprised it's explode damage, because this is like the definition of a self-destruction, right? He literally blows himself up. Okay. Yeah, so the wording is definitely different here. Majin Vegeta says, the self-destruct damage does not depend on your own health, but deals a fixed amount of damage. And this cells is just deals massive explode damage. Okay. It does not say... Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I mean, this is clearly not going to be the same, because Majin Vegeta's, number one, can kill someone, right? This one clearly says, this damage from this attack cannot cause the enemy or enemy members on standby to be defeated. I was thinking maybe it would allow you to kill the enemy. Maybe that would be too OP, because, like, it's unavoidable, right? The difference between this cell's death AoE and, like, Majin Vegeta's final explosion is Majin Vegeta's final explosion is interruptible. You can, like, rush him, you can blue card him, you can ultimate him, you could green card him, and that interrupts the cast of the ultimate. Whereas with the cell, all you do is kill him, and that's it. So, I think a big part of this character's value is going to come out of how much damage this death AoE actually does. If this is, like, anywhere even remotely close to Zenkai Majin Vegeta's AoE damage, this is going to be a real problem. This character's going to be a real problem. We'll see, though. We'll see. The following effects occur when the final counter hits. Destroys all of your enemy's cards. Inflicts all enemy attribute downgrade, -2 to arts card draw speed for 5 counts. -50% to health restoration and for 30 counts. And then no switching for 3 counts. So basically, they're locked in. They have no cards. And they can't draw cards. But they do still have their Vanish. And they're only going to be locked in for 3 counts. We'll see. We'll see how that plays into effects here because, I can't really look at this and be like, oh my god, that's so OP. Like it probably is gonna be good, but I don't think it's gonna be like, well, you're gonna guaranteed kill someone now. The following effects also occur if there are at least 2 enemy battle members remaining. Seals enemies Rising Rush for 5 counts, and then seals all enemies' main abilities for 5 counts. The reason why sealing main ability is nice here is because a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but there are characters that are able to get Vanish back via main ability. So if you make somebody like use their Vanish, and then they're still going to be locked in for like another count or so, they can't then use their main ability to regain their Vanish, right? So that's something to keep in mind there. All right, so here we go. Applies the following effects to self when battle starts. Oh, he starts with 85% of his unique gauge. That's interesting. So, So if you start the fight with a green card, and you like land this really, really fast, you're going to charge up your unique gauge instantly. So you can pretty much start the first combo with a full unique gauge here. All right, he gets 90% damage inflicted, 40% damage inflicted against yellow. Okay. It's kind of like how Ultra Hit gets extra damage inflicted against blue units. 30% to special move damage inflicted, and then reduces damage received by 70%. I guess we're sort of moving into the realm of all these new big releases just having 70% damage reduction at all times. It's just what they're going to have. Okay. Then he has... Okay, so yeah, he definitely does seem like a blast character, a ranged character, because they really are the only ones who get this as well. So this combined with the blast armor damage on the blast card effect tells me that this is going to be a ranged character. So this is, honestly, this is a character that you're probably going to really want for your Android team. This guy plus Blue 17 plus the Gammas. That's your go-to Android team from now on. Minus 10 to blast and special move arts cost. Okay. And then additional 20% of damage inflicted if there are 3 tag Saiyan or Sun Family enemy battle members. Yeah, again, I don't know how often this is going to come into play right now, because I don't, like, you don't run into full Saiyan or Sun Family teams. Again, most teams that you're fighting right now have either it's an Android team. Androids is a pretty decently common team right now. Androids, or they're running Zenkai Sword of Hope Trunks, who's a hybrid Saiyan and not a Sun Family character, or they're running Blue 17, who's obviously not Saiyan or Sun Family unit. So I don't think this is going to come into play that often right now, but potentially down the line it might be more substantial. Okay. Shortens own sub count by 4 when enemy activates a special move, Ultimate Arts, Awakened Arts, or Rising Rush while this character is on standby. So he does not get the full 10 sub count reduction when the enemy does like a Rising Rush, which is what we've seen from the other Death AoE characters, right? We have Tapion and we have Magenta. Those are the 2 existing Death AoE characters in the game right now. Both of those characters reduce sub count by 10 when the enemy Rising Rushes. This cell only reduces sub count by 4, but he's also reducing sub count for blue cards, ultimates, and awakened cards and Rising Rush. Now this is actually pretty... This works pretty well with 17, Blue 17, because remember, Blue 17, I believe, what is it? I think it's -3 to ally sub count when the enemy activates like a blue card or an ultimate or a Rising Rush. So that makes this -7 to this. But yeah, I mean, clearly they want you to use this guy next to Blue 17. Blue 17 just continues to accumulate value like it's nothing. Okay. Unique ability number 2. Legends Limited Perfect Form Cell has a special cover change against Strike Arts. There's also a unique gauge that charges while Cell is in the field. When it hits max, it will reset to 0. Then up to 3 cards will be drawn if you have 3 or fewer cards. Arts card draw speed will increase. The enemy special cover change will be nullified. And more. Make use of all the new cards you drew and the increased draw speed to really lay the pressure on while the enemy can't use any special cover changes. Alrighty. So knocks enemy back to long range of recovery changes performed against their Striker's attack, and then comboable with the blue card. Okay. Alright, so here we go with the unique gauge. I think this is going to give us a good idea of how good this unit is. Charges on unique gauge while this character is in the battlefield. Once the unique gauge is full, it resets to 0 and applies the following effects to self. Randomly draws at most 3 new cards when you have 3 or fewer cards. Restores health by 20%. Restores ki by 60. Gets his full vanish gauge back. 60% to damage inflicted, which is a permanent uncancelable buff. Then he gets a 20% damage buff for 70 counts, cannot be cancelled. Gets card draw speed for 70 counts, cannot be cancelled. And then applies buff effects, nullifies enemy special cover changes for 15 counts, and then cancels attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions. So this is interesting. I'm not going to be able to really judge how good this unit is because we have no idea how long it takes for this to charge, right? We know he starts the fight at, 85%? Yeah, charges on unique gauge by 85%. He is charging his unique gauge by 20% every time he uses a green card, and his main ability charges his unique gauge, right? 30%. After 20 counts have elapsed. Here's the interesting thing about this. This is stackable. Card draw speed. 70 counts of card draw speed. Uncancelable. I mean, this character is going to have a pretty big window of double card draw speed. I think. And getting 15 counts of cover nullification is very strong. I think it is, moving forward, at least for the foreseeable future, it's going to be noteworthy to look at, does the cover nullification have uncancelable effects on it? This one does not say cannot be canceled, so this cell can't rush against Goku and Frieza. That is a really big deal. So this is cancelable cover null. So if this cell rushes against a team that has Goku and Frieza on it, Goku and Frieza can switch in and nullify the rush. So that is, good to note. But this is also for 70 counts too, this damage. So he's just going to continue to rack up damage and stack this on top of each other. So he's starting off, let's just take note of all this stuff so far. He's starting off with 90% damage. I'm not even going to factor in the yellow damage and the special move damage. Let's just talk about just damage in general. 90% here. The first time he fills up his unique gauge, he's getting another 60, so that's 150. Then he's getting another 20, that's 170. And then he's just going to continue stacking damage every time the unique gauge is filled up, which we don't know how long it takes to fill up. So, all right, we'll see. We'll see. Applies the following effects to self every time the enemy uses an arts card while this character is on the battlefield. Randomly draws 1 new card when you have 3 or fewer cards. So whenever the enemy uses a card, he draws a card. Okay. Does that matter? Draws a card when you have 3 or fewer cards when the enemy uses an arts card. I don't know if that really matters, to be honest. He gets 20% damage and then card draw speed for 10 counts. Here's the problem with this. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. If this was 5 counts, I'd say this is worthless. But 10 counts, I guess you can kind of make use of this. Arts card draw speed by 1 level for 10 counts. So I'm just trying to picture this. The enemy starts comboing you. And let's just say it's like Ultra Vegito Blues in every match. You get comboed for 50 counts straight. By the time you are able to start a combo on them after their combo ends, how much of this card draw speed buff are you able to take advantage of? I would say it's probably not going to be that significant. You get 10 counts of this. I mean, the good thing about this is going to be this card draw speed buff is going to stack on top of this card draw speed buff from the unique gauge filling up. So that's good. But I don't think this is really going to matter a ton. Maybe in certain circumstances it will matter. So for example, if you perfect vanish somebody, this will matter, right? So if you're in with Cell and he perfect vanishes, because he has to be on the battlefield, right? Then yeah, this will matter a lot. So this purple perfect Cell, I think, is going to benefit a decent amount from perfect vanishing opponents because he's getting extra card draw speed and he's getting extra damage and he's drawing a card. So that could be effective for this unit. The following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield: 30 key, and then 15% to damage inflicted by allied episodes, Cell Saga, or Regen. Other than this character cannot be cancelled, activates once. Okay, so he's supporting Regen and Cell Saga. Also charges own unique gauge by 20% per defeated battle member. That's on entry. So if he's last man standing, he's charging his unique gauge by 40% when he enters the battlefield. All right. Again, it's going to be relatively tough for me to judge how good this character is because there's two unknowns, right? We don't know how much damage this death AoE is going to do. This is going to be a major factor in how good the character is, I think. And then the other thing, which I think matters probably even more, is we don't know how long it takes to fill up the unique gauge. So once we are able to know what those are, I think it'll paint a better picture of how good this character is and how effective he'll be. But as it stands, I think he seems pretty good. I don't think he's really on par with like Goku and Frieza or Ultra Vegito Blue or anything like that. But he seems solid. Without testing him out, without seeing him in action, I would say that he just seems pretty solid. This is definitely a character that seems very snowball-y, right? So like, you land the green card, you fill up the unique gauge right away, you get all these buffs, and then you're on your way to get the next unique gauge. You pop his main ability, like he's doing a lot of damage. He's comboing for like 80 counts in a row. Like he can snowball really hard, but it doesn't feel like he has as much in his kit as we've seen with like Goku and Frieza and Ultra Vegito Blue, the two best units in the game right now. He's really not looking impressive defensively, but I guess that's kind of what they were going for because he has an entire mechanic dedicated to him dying. So that's going to be it for this breakdown here. Pretty much everything about the kit we have access to here. The only thing we don't know are the stats, and again, it does look like he is going to be a ranged type character, which again will work really, really well with androids, but I don't think it's going to work that well with Regen, which is definitely very weird because they gave him specifically a Regen buff for allied Regen units here for damage. I guess you can kind of jam him on Regen, just sort of like force it to work. I don't think it would be the worst thing ever, but this character is definitely more poised, I think, to work well with like Blue 17 on Android. So let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.